This video is sponsored by PoketownStore.com, the best place to get yourself some TCG code cards. They are compatible with TCG Live, and you can of course get everything on the website for 5% off using the coupon code ZapDosTCG. This video is also sponsored by cardmarket.com. This is a European platform where you're able to buy and sell cards to people all across Europe. I personally use it every single day, and you can do it as well. And you can use the referral name ZapDosTCG to help support the channel. This video is also sponsored by yourplaymat.com. This is a platform where you're able to, of course, create your own custom playmat. They have, of course, capabilities to ship worldwide, and you can get 10% off by clicking the link down below. So definitely check it out. Last but not least is Dragon Shield, the best brand to protect your beautiful cards. You can of course there's links down below for US and European people, and you can of course get your best quality sleeves available, as well as deck boxes and binders. Thanks so much for sticking around with the commercials. I hope you enjoyed today's upload. If you do, be sure to let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button, and let's get this video going. So we do with ZapDosTCG here, and welcome back to our TCG video on my channel. On this channel you get daily Pokemon TCG content, so be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. We're going to be talking about Paldea Evolved in this set. It's going to be kind of a set review slash top 20 best cards of the set. I always do this when of course we have some sort of a set list for the upcoming set. We're going to be getting this set in of course June 9th, so that's 1 month away, and of course pre-releases will start 2 weeks before that release date, so at the end of May you can expect some pre-releases. But for now we're going to be counting down the top 20 best cards of Paldea Evolved, our next Scarlet and Violet set over at the Western world. So Japan already has these cards and has been playtesting with them a little bit here and there. I already talked about some deck lists that could be good that you can check out. There's a link down below in the description if you want some deck lists for Paldea Evolved. And also, if a little disclaimer here, if your favorite card is not mentioned here, or I forgot a couple of cards that are good, or some cards you would rearrange in the top 20, let me know down below in the comments. Let's get a discussion started. This is my personal top 20 best list, so don't attack me if I'm completely wrong, but I have been playing the game for about like 10 years and onwards in the competitive scene, so this is my understanding of how good the cards will be. Without further ado, let's start off with number 20, Lesson Studio, a stadium card. The attacks of each player's Stage 1 Evolution Pokemon do 10 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon before applying weakness and resistance. This could help out those Stage 1 Pokemon. Typically V-Star Pokemon are also Stage 1 Pokemon, but they're lackluster with their damage output. I could receive that additional buff with the 10 additional damage output. Let's just say Goodra is just slapping 200 with Rolling Iron. Sometimes that's a little bit short of knocking out basic V Pokemon. Slapping for 210 would sometimes be a little bit better, so you could test that out in a deck like this. Also, Mewtwo V-Star is capped at 270 damage output, which is just super awkward. With Lesson Studio, you can get there all the way to the 280 number, which is very magical for sure. This also is going to help out some decks that want to hit for weakness but don't hit quite enough, and because it is before applying weakness and resistance, it's going to be very great as a cool stadium card. And your binder, maybe you can even play it in a very competitive deck once we have a little bit of an understanding of what the meta looks like. Moving forward, number 19 is going to be a group of cards that have all the attack Dangerous Wings. We have Murkrow, we have the Lightning Bird, and as well as the Flamigo. So a couple of these cards are available right now. Only 3 copies exist, so you can play 4 of each. It's pretty much like the new Night March or Lost March or whatever came before the Mad Party. So all of these decks are a little bit similar, but the cool thing is that this does not have a low amount of hit points. Like for instance, a Joltik with Night March had 40 hit points, a Bumblebee with Mad Party had 40 hit points. This Flamigo actually has the 110 HP mark, which is actually way better. It's still the lower hit points because like Cramorant could still spin it to death, as well as Sableye with Lost Mine, but it does come back with a cool ability. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, you may search your deck for up to 3 Flamigo and put them into your hand. Very good, because you can slap down Flamigo, get 3 other Flamigos, and then use Research to already have yourself a reasonable damage output. You're slapping 20 damage for every Pokemon in your discard pile with Dangerous Wings, and right now we can have 4 Murkrow, 4, I don't even know what the lightning fella is called, so forgive me for that, but you have 4 of the basic Lightning Bird. There's 4 Flamigos as well. So in theory, if you're using the Ditto, that can copy the attack. You can have like 4, 4, 4, that's 12, 240 damage output. Unfortunately, twin energy is no longer a thing. You're gonna have to rely on double turbo energy, making it 220. So maybe in future sets, this will become better when another Pokemon releases with dangerous wings. But I had to include it in here because it's a nice, funky one price deck, and the Amigo ability here, the Flamigo ability with Flock together definitely helps with some additional consistency for early game pressure. As mentioned, Lost Box is still a very nuisance in the format, so you're gonna have to be very careful when playing a deck like this. Number 18 is Forretress EX. This gives me some vibes, Electrode EX vibes, or Electrode GX, whatever. You're going to be able to explode your Forretress, and once during your turn, if you do that, of course the opponent is taking 2 prize cards because they're taking down a 2 prize Pokemon. You're just exploding it. You can search your deck for up to 5 basic grass energy cards and attach them to your Pokemon in any way that you like. So definitely pairs well with the new Iono card. We're going to be talking about Iono later, but it's a comeback supporter, very similar to Ann and Marnie, so super cool to see that in the format. We're going to be talking about it, all about it a little bit later down in the video, but this is going to be able to set yourself up with some attackers. Maybe some attackers, let's say Regigigas VSTAR, you could set that up with the explosive energy, and then after you set yourself up, you can Iono the opponent to a low hand size, and you're good to go. There's the Wu-Chien EX, which allows you to snipe 60 damage. For every, like, you can slap 60 damage, and then for every prize card the opponent has taken, it increases. So let's say they've taken 4 prize cards, you're going to be sniping for 240. So it's a sniping capability. Unfortunately, Manaphy is in the format, but you can set yourself up. A lot of attackers can be set up with Forretress, and luckily we do get Iono in the same set, which allows you for some comeback potential because you're giving up 2 prize cards, but getting 5 basic energy cards instantly from the deck is actually pretty good. So I wonder if it's going to be seeing a lot of play. In the past, we've seen abilities like this get abused a little bit. Like, think about the Mismagius that got banned because of the combination of Reset Stamp and all that. Well, this time around, you can explode Forretress. Let's say you explode 2 of them, then use Iono. It's going to be kind of whack and crazy. Let's see if this card will see play at the top tables. Moving forward, number 17 is Meowscarada. If you're a fan of the CGY GX, or maybe even more recent Rapid Strike Inteleon with quick shooting, you're going to be loving this. It is an ability here. Stage 2 EX Pokemon does evolve from the little fella, so you have to be playing Rare Candy or something. You must discard a grass energy from your hand in order to use the ability. Once during your turn, you may put 3 damage counters on one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. Yeah, only works on the bench, but there's escape rope to make sure you can push the opponent to the side. And there's Radiant Alakazam, which allows you to move around some damage counters. There's Medicham. There's even the Hawlucha, which helps out with damage counters. This is going to be the new age sniping deck. You can KO Comphase, Ralts, etc. And then with Yoga Loop, you can do it again, and it's back to your turn. So, and if your opponent already has damage counters on it, you're actually slapping 220 damage for only 2 Carlos energy. So this could be an archetype that we have to test out. I wonder if it's going to be any good because there's still a lot of big contenders in the format. And if it's going to be fast enough, that is just a question that remains. Moving forward, number 16 is going to be Noivern. Noivern EX actually combines the control elements or the auto-win conditions of specific cards. Think about Max Balloon on the Flying Pikachu VMAX being immune to basic Pokemon. That's exactly what the covered flight attack is. Its first attack here. During your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from basic Pokemon. So super cool for sure. You also, if decks are only consistent of basic Pokemon, you can just win the game instantly. Just be careful of stuff like Sableye, which can still sprinkle you, because it only prevents the damage, so not the effects. We don't have Big Parasol in the format, but it's definitely a card that has some potential, definitely in the format where you can play all sorts of auto-win conditions. You could be playing the Rolodon VMAX with its Skyscraper ability, you could be playing Alolan Vulpix, you could be playing this Noivern here. It also has the Dominant Echo. You're slapping 140 damage, and during your opponent's next turn, they can't play any special energy or stadium cards from their hand. Very similar to Shadow Mist, but this slaps way more damage, so this could be a game-changing scenario, definitely in combination with something like Fan of Waves. You Fan of Waves a special energy, then use Dominant Echo, and then if the deck only consists of special energies, you automatically win the game. So Noivern EX also comes back with Free Retreat, which is a huge help here to flip-flop between attackers here and there, but it's definitely a strong card. Moving forward, number 15, Oricoro. Oricoro is around, another competitive card for Oricoro. Does seem to get a lot of love from the Pokemon Company here. So Passionate Dance. Once during your turn, you can heal 20 damage from your evolution active Pokemon. So it only works for evolution Pokemon and they need to be in the active position. And this theory, you can be healing 20 with Oricoro. You can be using Radiant Serena. You can be using Crystal Cave. And there's a Hisuian Lugia VSTAR slapped his way all the way in the active position. That could be something that the opponent might not be able to handle. You can use Rolling Iron, 80 reduction because of Hisuian Lugia's effect, and then healing so much with Crystal Cave, Radiant Serena, Oricoro. It's ridiculous. I can see something like this working out. It could also work for decks that utilize Magma Basin. You use Magma Basin, but then you damage yourself. But with Oricoro, you actually neglect that effect because you can heal it off with the Passionate Dance. So healing 20 could be definitely a card you want to be tacking into a specific list. Moving forward, number 14 is a reprint card, Super Energy Retrieval, which means you can be playing the older copies. You can discard 2 cards from hand and then get 4 basic energy cards back from your discard pile into the hand. You can't choose a card you discarded with the effect of discard. So you cannot like discard 2 waters and then get the waters back immediately. So that's not how it works. But I imagine there's like a bunch of grass energies in the discard pile because you used Meowscarada's EX ability. You can get them back easily with Super Energy Retrieval. Is it better than regular Energy Retrieval? That has to be something you think about, but definitely great in decks like the Baxcalibur. We're going to be talking about that stage 2 monster that has the Rain Dance ability very shortly, but it's going to be helping out decks that can, of course, need a lot of energies for abilities or need to have a lot of energy so you can accelerate them from hand. So very cool to see this as a reprinted card. Number 13, Skeledirge EX. Skeledirge EX is actually a 340 HP stage 2 Pokemon. A lot of hit points. Being weak to water might hurt you in the end because Chien-Pao is going to be coming up next in a couple of numbers away. So being weak to water might not be good, but at specific matchups it could be very good because Burning Voice actually slapped 270. You don't always love to see the minus symbol there, but it is slapping 10 less damage for every damage counter on this Pokemon. That doesn't mean it's very bad because 270 is very great. You could be pairing it up with something like a Choice Belt and all the V-Stars will get slapped away for only 2 energies. Reminds me a little bit of Victini VMAX back in the day. This is a low maintenance Pokemon. You just attach of the turn, following turn, Red Candy, Skeledirge, attach again and slaps 270 instantly without any downside. You can even set it up in 1 turn with a Magma Basin and an attach of turn. And the cool thing with that, if you're playing a lot of switch cards, you're going to be able to abuse Cheryl here. So that means you can maybe play something with a free retreat, which is always nice to have in a deck like this. So you switch into that free retreat Pokemon or escape rope into that free retreat Pokemon. Use Magma Basin attachment. Yeah, you can use Cheryl, that Magma Basin attachment. Even though your damage output will be 250, you could also still decide to play Radiant Serena, or you could be deciding to play Oricoro. That also works. So Skeledirge, it's a high HP Pokemon that does need a lot of energies to hit a high amount of numbers. Number 12, Mimikyu. The Miltank gets a straight upgrade. Do you remember games where you lost because the opponent just had a lone Miltank? Well, this is going to be coming back again in the form of Mimikyu with the Safeguard ability. Prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon EX and Pokemon V. So I actually included Miraidon in this slide here just because Miraidon is a deck that typically runs Raikou, Miraidon, Regigigas VMAX, Regigigas, so all of V Pokemon and EX Pokemon. While that will no longer help out here because if decks are not playing a 1-price Pokemon, Mimikyu just stalls and wins games. That's what it's going to be doing. So a lot of control decks are grabbing towards this. I can already see like a Block Snorlax decks abusing this to just get your setup and then trap a little bit here and there. So control gets another friend in the form of Mimikyu. It is also putting 7 damage counters on your opponent's active Pokemon for 2 energies. Miltank could attack with 1 energy, but yeah, if you're walling out, you have all the time in the world, right? Moving forward, number 11 is going to be the Luminous Energy, and this is a card I desperately wanted in the format. It is not as powerful as Aurora Energy, unfortunately, because this energy can only be attached to a Pokemon that doesn't have any other special energy attached. Otherwise, you have to discard this energy. So the thing here is it only works as a one-time deal, right? So Luminous Energy and then all basic energies, pretty much. Because if you have another special energy, the energy gets discarded, which is very bad. So in other words, you could be utilizing this in Lugia with Charizard again, but play 2 Luminous Energies and the Radiant Charizard, so Charizard is now part of the squad once again. It can only attack in the late phase of the game, don't forget, because it only works if the opponent has taken 4 prize cards. I could also see the resurgence of the Regi deck, playing 2 or 3 energies of these, because you only need 1 and a couple of basic energies, flip-flopping between lightnings, fighting's, grass and fire, and then you used to play a lot of research, tracking shoe, Pokestop, and boom, the Regi deck is back just because of this energy, making it way easier. And there's also another new card, a reprinted card that's going to help out the Regi deck, but I'm a big fan of having this kind of energy in the format for specific archetypes to see a resurgence. And also they actually nerfed it so bad, otherwise if you could have attached it multiple times, then Lugia would be broken once again. Moving forward, number 10 is going to be the Charm of Courage, or in other words, Cape of Toughness. Yeah, Cape of Toughness is back. They actually renamed the card, because now tool cards have their own classification in the trainer category. So they're now Pokemon tool cards, no longer item cards. You cannot fetch it out with Mew from Celebrations. You cannot fetch it out through the means of a Pokestop. You will have to use Arven or something that could grab this tool card. Maybe a Force Seal Stone could grab it also, but yeah, we have some cards added in here in this slide. We have Drifloon, the new partner for Gardevoir EX decks. Drifloon actually slaps 30 damage for every damage counter on this Pokemon. In the past, it could only hit for 180 numbers, but now with the Charm of Courage, and even with the addition of Champions Festival, the Drifloon is going to be going bananas and knocking everything out. So this one prize Pokemon, basic Pokemon with 70 HP, is going to be doing crazy stuff in the Gardevoir deck, mark my words. And then there's also Ting-Lu, having 240 HP as a basic Pokemon. Also, we'll see a little bit of success here and there. And with the Charm of Courage, puts it all the way to 290. And with a Grass Weakness is actually pretty good in this format. Moving forward, it is actually going to be the Ting-Lu EX. As mentioned, Grass Weakness is very good, and a lot of great grass archetypes are around. And Ting-Lu comes back with the Cursed Ground ability. As long as this Pokemon is in the active spot, your opponent's Pokemon that have any damage counters on them have no abilities except for Pokemon EX. So pretty much you shut down. What would you want to shut down? I'm going to be giving you a couple of examples here. You could be shutting down Genesect. Just use Escape Rope. Hawlucha plays are the ways you can go about this, so you can shut down specific Pokemon instantly. So Hawlucha puts 1 damage counter to 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon, which is very great because you can shut down those abilities. Other draw powers, let's say you can shut down Kirlia. So as long as this Pokemon is in the active spot, your opponent that have damage counters have no ability. So this is a way you could be shutting down Kirlia with Refinement, Gardevoir with Shining Arcana, Genesect, V. Can I think about more Pokemon? Yeah, pretty much you could also put some damage counters on Arceus V. That means that if they want to go for the V-Star, they can't anymore. So yeah, shutting down abilities is what the Ting-Lu does. And you can set it up easily with Koraidon EX and the Dino Cry ability, ending your turn by accelerating 2 fighting energies from your discard pile. Because the opponent will be slowed down. Let's be honest, a lot of decks will be slowed down because they cannot use abilities. You can then utilize the Ting-Lu EX to 2-shot Pokemon. It's going to be kind of a crazy deck we're going to be testing out. Moving forward, number 8 is Super Rod. This reprinted card will bring some additional buff to Lost Box. I know, you don't want to be hearing that from me, but Lost Box missed Ordinary Rod quite a bit. How many times did you say like, I had to lost on one of my Pokemon and now my Pokemon's knocked out. I don't have Clara in hand. That's annoying. Well, it also works out to get your energies back in the deck because sometimes you have them in hand, but you want the Mirage Gate and they are not in the deck, so that's super annoying. Super Rod helping out Lost Box decks like that. Also, the Regigigas deck no longer needs Miriam, which was pretty annoying, or Clara. Now you can revert back to 4 Super Rod, 4 Research, 4 Pokestop, let's get it on, and the Regi decks will thrive once again. So I love the Super Rod reprint. I love to have this recovery in the format. Moving forward, number 7 is going to be the Reversal Energy. Reversal Energy is a crazy card. Let's just look at it. If you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent, and this card is attached to an evolution Pokemon that doesn't have a rule box, this card provides every type of energy, but provides only 3 at the same time. I could be seeing like Wiglet strategies as a work trio. I don't even know. You can be playing so many wacky things. If you're behind in prize cards, it's gonna work. That's what it is. Gardevoir is a deck that typically falls behind in prize cards really quickly. But if you then have that reversal energy, you don't need that many energies in the discard pile to go for crazy damage output with Brainwave. So I can see it working there. There's also a Luxray in this set, which means if you have more prize cards remaining than the opponent, you can instantly slap the stage 2 Pokemon down on the bench and it slaps 180 damage. I see this working out in decks like Lugia to have like an evolution Pokemon in your deck that hits for a huge amount of damage. Has its mean answer to just knock out like Flying Pikachu VMAX, which does see a resurgence in this Paldea Evolved format. So Reversal Energy, we're going to be seeing some wacky combos, mark my words. Also going to be good for control decks that rely on evolution Pokemon because you're always behind in prize cards. Then number 6 is going to be Spiritomb. This is a disaster for a lot of decks out there. Look at this ability, Pitch Black Doom. As long as this Pokemon is in play, basic Pokemon V have no abilities, both yours and your opponent's. So this is a card that we needed a long time ago to shut down specific archetypes. Like Mew is never dead, even Drapion is around, you can even shut down Drapion with the Spiritomb in your own Mew V Max deck, but then you're not drawing any cards anymore. I know, it's ridiculous. You could be playing a new version, new age Mew V Max, that could be a thing. Or you could be knocking out Mew V Max yourself by turn 1, Nazball Spiritomb, and out of nowhere, Mew is not able to draw any more cards. It's like sometimes better than a Klefki, because Klefki can get pushed away with Bossasaurus and Escape Rope. With Spiritomb just laying around on the bench, it's going to be very hard. Also, it works for both players, don't forget that. And also, if you're playing something like an Arceus or whatever, and you're still afraid of Galarian Zapdos somewhere popping around, you could be playing the Spiritomb to protect. This could also be seeing play and Miraidon, now that I think about it, because that means that the Spiritomb will, of course, help for Galarian Zapdos prevention, which is very good. But if you start with it, it's going to be very bad. But anyhow, it is a very great tech card that's going to be seeing a huge amount of play. Definitely an Arceus builds for sure. Moving forward, number 5 is going to be the Chien-Pao EX. That's right. This is a very strong card. Will be its own archetype. Definitely with the Baxcalibur. Let's talk about Baxcalibur first. Stage 2 water type that allows you to accelerate as many water energies from your hand during your turn as often as you like. So pretty much rain dance. You can get as many energies out. You draw into energies, you can get them down. Use super energy retrieval, you can just slap all the energies down. That's what it's going to be meaning if you can get this out. The cool thing is we have Irida in the format, and Irida means Baxcalibur and Candy instantly. So with a couple of Pokegears and maybe Irida, you have a very consistent stage 2 deck that sets up. And Chien-Pao EX is just the cream of the crop because with Trembling Cold, you can search your deck for 2 basic water energies and reveal them to the opponent and put them in hand. If it's in the active spot, let's say you can play like 1 or 2 switches, you can even use the ability twice. Chien-Pao, 2 water energies, you switch, use another Chien-Pao, 2 water energies, and then boom, slap them all down on your field with the Baxcalibur's ability. And Hail Blizzard actually slaps 60 damage for discard the amount of water energies as you like from your Pokemon, and then 60 damage for every energy you discarded in this way. So with 4 energies discarded, 240, slap. Maybe, yeah, unfortunately that Capacious Buckle is no longer in the format, otherwise this would be so broken. Very strong archetype, and we'll see how it goes. You could also be playing the Baxcalibur with some other attackers like Kyogre, which is able to slap for 180 damage onto the opponent's bench Pokemon. So there's a lot of great water types in the format. Explore and have fun creating this new archetype. Then the top 4. Number 4 is going to be Squawkabilly EX, and I'm actually sure that these top 4 are the best cards of the sets. I'm not going to be letting myself convince it's any other way, because Squawkabilly is consistency. Consistency is key. Who remembers the Dene GX? Yeah, the Dene was broken. Well, let me just enlighten you. Squawkabilly, you can only utilize this ability if you go on the first turn of the game. So you may discard your hand, draw 6, and you cannot use more than 1 livelihood draw power during your turn. So pretty much on your first turn you can use this. The cool thing is it's not a coming into play effect. You can Nazball, slap down Squawkabilly, use Professor's Research if you're going second, of course. If you're going second and it's your first turn, use Research first, and then out of nowhere, oh, you don't have what you need, then you can activate Squawkabilly. So this is going to be searchable with Nazball, as it seems with the translation, and this is going to be a card. If you want extra consistency for your early turns, this is going to be a card. You want to have, of course, Arceus attach and pass. Well, typically you would stuff your deck like 14 energies just to make sure you don't whiff that turn 1 attachment. Well, just play some Squawkabilly. You play 4 Nazball, 4 Ultra Ball, you have that additional draw power for the games where you don't have an energy in hand, or if you don't find Arceus. If you start with it, you can also, this is a thing I should note here, if you start with Squawkabilly, it is not bad. Because on your first turn, you can instantly utilize its ability. So that means, oh, I had the Dennis start. Oh, I had Luminion start. All of these like coming into play effects were bad if you started with them. Squawkabilly, not that way. Very strong card, but only works on the first turn of the game. Moving forward, the top 3, let's go. 3 is going to be Artazon. On first glance, this card doesn't look that great, right? It's like Brooklet Hill or Stormy Mountains or whatever it is. Once during each player's turn, that player may search their deck for a basic Pokemon that does not have a rule box and put it onto the bench. That player shuffles their deck. Okay, setup decks. There's a lot of setup decks that are going to be relying on Artazon. It's a stadium, you can insta-search. I know Nazball is also around, but sometimes you want 4 Nazball and 3 Artazon. Just have some setup. I'm thinking about like, you'll be playing Artazon and the Regigigas deck. You'll be playing Artazon and the Gardevoir deck to have more rolls set up. You could be playing Artazon and the Baxcalibur deck, so you can have, or the Chien-Pao deck, I would say, so you can get yourself the early evolution out. There's you can not get, of course, V Pokemon, G axis, E axis, etc. So those all have rule boxes. So you can only get like Pokemon without a rule box. So don't forget, you can also not get Radiant Greninja with this or any Radiant card that you want. It's just going to be for setup decks. Think about your rolls. This could also be utilized in Lost Box decks to get yourself what you need. Oh, I want my Sable deck. Poof, it's there. Oh, I now need my Cramorant. Poof, it's there. So all the one price Pokemon without rule boxes, you can just get them out with Artazon. And that's why I think it's great. Even though the opponent could also benefit from this stadium. In the past, I've seen things like Viridian Forest Training Core. The opponent could also benefit from those, but if the effect is so good, it's definitely going to be a card that's going to be played in a whole heap of decks. Number 2, Jet Energy. Get your jets ready because your Comfeys will fly around your playmat, because if you attach it to one of your Pokemon, you immediately get dragged into the active position. So what does that mean? You could be utilizing Flower Selecting with your active Comfey. Oh, what is this? Battle VIP Pass. I use Battle VIP Pass, get Radiant Greninja, get another Comfey down, attach a Jet Energy to the Comfey on the bench. It flies its way on the active position, and you can use Flower Selecting again, and then manual retreat it. Maybe even have a switch out, like Switch Card, Switch Escape Rope to go for another Comfey, but this is great for getting another Pokemon in the active slot. In the past, Lugia struggled a lot by getting trapped by Paralyzation. Well, a card like this fixes this instantly. If you attach it from hand, you can fly yourself in the active position. I know you have to save a couple of these cards for some paralysis here and there, but I like this card so much. I see it play in Lost Boxes and Lugia decks altogether because it's a card that is a built-in switch. If you start with the incorrect Pokemon that has a high amount of retreat cost, let me just give an example. You start with Tyranitar, but you don't want to be attacking with Tyranitar. You could be using Jet Energy, and then out of nowhere, your Lugia can still use Read the Wind or utilize Evolve and Attack, pretty much. So, strong card for sure. Switch and Energy is very, very, very strong. Then, the number 1 card is, can you guess it? Of course you can. It is Iono. Oh no. It is Iono. A lot of games will go down to, oh no, I lost the game because the opponent Iono'd me into nothing. Well, you're going to be getting that phrase a lot from a lot of people, because Iono is pretty much, let's imagine a world where Marnie and the old school classic N from Noble Victories did a fusion dash. Fusion, boom, you get Iono. What does it mean? Each player shuffles their hand and puts it on the bottom of the deck, just like a Marnie, but then you draw the equal amount of cards equal to your amount of remaining prize cards. So in the early game, crazy setup. You can shuffle, draw 6, and it's going to be 6 different cards than the cards you don't want to be seeing. So early game, it's nice for draw 6 pretty much, like shuffle, draw 6. It's not shuffle, but it's going to the bottom of the deck, but you get my point. Consistency. And in the late game, it is disruption. That's how good Iono is, and I'm expecting a lot of decks to go back to that old school style of like playing 4 research, 3 Iono or something similar. Even Gardevoir decks could be playing more Iono because of the fact that they are falling behind. So that's going to be a better draw supporter. And you also don't want to be researching away your Curlia. So Iono, very strong in Gardevoir. Iono could be a card that you can search out with Lumineon at the correct time in something like an Arceus build. I can see Iono working out with Mew V Max and a couple of Path to the Peak. So Iono Path combo is going to be something so strong. It's out of this world. So Iono deserves my number 1 spot. It's going to be in almost all the decks around. So it's an easy choice for me. But now it's time for you guys. Let me know what your favorite card of Paldea Evolved is, and also leave some feedback. I'm putting a lot of effort and time into making these videos. What did you think about the wrap? What do you think about the selection of the top 20 best cards? Did I forget a couple of cards that you personally liked? Let me know down below in the comments section. I would appreciate it a ton. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to let me know by slapping the hell out of the like button. Helps out in ridiculous ways. It's super effective. Mark my words, and I'm super grateful if you would do so. With that being said, go check out our sponsors. Of course, they're all floating above my head, but there's also links in the description. There's PokemonStore.com for TCG Live code cards. You can use the coupon code ZapDoseTCG for 5% off. They will have Paldea Evolved next month, so refresh the website and get the codes there and start playing on TCG Live when the set drops. Inevitably at June 9th. I think it will be a day earlier that it's going to be available on TCG Live. Then there's also Dragon Shield for your sleeves, binders, and deck boxes. Links down below for people from the US and Europe. Then there's your playmat for people all across the world. If you want to create your own custom playmat, you want to be flexing out at Worlds, or you want to be having this for your next internationals or regionals, of course, you could, of course, get one today and get 10% off. If you click the link down below, just upload your favorite wallpaper or design. They ship worldwide and it's going to be fantastic, mark my words. Then there's also Card Market for European players. You can buy and sell cards to people all across Europe. I personally use it every single day to get rid of the cards that I don't need, to buy the cards I really need for competitive play. So thanks for watching today's upload. I appreciate it a ton. Subscribe for more content and I'll see you guys tomorrow for more Pokemon TCG epicness. Peace!